This neighborhood is haunted.
Greetings, ladies and gents. Welcome to the newest episode of MAFF'S Movie Show. I'm your host, as always, Twinkle Vine Sprit. And today, we're going to talk mostly about the newest version, iteration of Candyman. This one's directed by Nia DaCosta and produced by Jordan Peele. And let's not get it confused because people on social media are being annoying about this. It's Nia DaCosta's movie, who, by the way, is the first black female director to be #1 at the box office this weekend. And that's pretty sad, but also it's pretty cool to see, and I'm glad to see the recognition for Nia DaCosta because there's been some divide on the movie, and I'll get into it, but I really dug this iteration of Candyman. The first Candyman I saw for the first time in full last year, and I was blown away by it. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror movies. And then I watched Farewell to the Flesh, the sequel, the other night. I'd never seen before in preparation for this new Candyman, and I thought for what it was, it doesn't go nearly as deep as the first one does. It goes into the background of Candyman, and I mean, for that aspect alone, I enjoyed that, and not really enjoyed it, but you know what I mean. I enjoyed seeing the character fleshed out. You know, Farewell to the Flesh. But I liked the lead in that movie, and I also just enjoyed the New Orleans setting, and some of the spooks were good. But now we have the newest one, and I don't think I would say this is a great horror movie, but I think it's higher than serviceable. I think Nia DaCosta does some really interesting things with the character. I think some things are kind of preachy. I'll get into that. Even though I do think preachy isn't bad, I do think in certain instances it's okay to be preachy. I think in some instances it's okay to be preachy when you're trying to get a message directly across and try to elicit a specific emotion. And this definitely does that. I don't know if it earns it. That's, I think, a lot more arguable and debatable. But I do think it's a really well-made movie. And I want to talk about it because it's #1 at the box office. It made a lot of money. And I'm already imagining all the white Republicans out in Staten Island where I live going to watch this blissfully unaware of the lore and themes of the Candyman and walking out going like, what the f*** was that? Right off the bat, I think the strongest aspects of this movie are its sonic attributes as well as its visual attributes. I think visually Nia DaCosta does some really interesting things. I think the puppetry with the shadow figures is a really cool way of, one, retelling the story of the first movie, and just instead of, even though there are flashbacks in the movie, which I didn't mind, there are more creative ways of doing that, and I think what she did with the puppetry is a really interesting way of telling audiences, new and old, what's going on with this character, and it's an animation style and an art style that I would like to see more often. It's an art style that I think really complements the nature of the Candyman. Besides the score and the cinematography, which I think are obvious pros for this film, I think it goes without saying also that the acting all around is just incredible. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is really, in the last couple of years, he's been involved in a lot of wild projects. He's the kind of actor at this point that I'll just follow him wherever he goes. I don't care how artsy or how mainstream he goes. He has the charisma. He has the six-pack for the ladies, or the guys, whoever, and he just happens to be an incredibly talented actor, and he does a really incredible job of bringing more to the scenery than just whatever's on the page, and I really was entertained, and I had no issues just following this character the entire way through, and it is completely thanks to Yahya's performance. Teyonah Parris, who you may have seen in WandaVision, is incredible as the female lead and Yahya's girlfriend character, who is pretty much in this movie just really, she's the one who pays the bills, and she wears the pants in the relationship, and she's been carrying his poor ass for God knows how long, and everybody tells her, like, why are you still dating this bozo? Tiana does a wonderful job of conveying a wide range of emotions and conflict and how she feels about the relationship that she's in with the main character in this movie, and the way that she's kind of thrown around. It might be a little bit all over the place, but like her and Yahya together have great relationship chemistry. You buy into a relationship and you feel bad when it's being stretched thin to the point where things might go really badly for one or both of them. And of course, when we're talking about performances, I have to talk about Coleman Domingo, who's one of my favorite actors in Hollywood right now. The dude, whenever he's in a movie, no matter how big or small his role is, when he's on screen with other people, or just if he's on screen at all, it's like all the energy goes right to him. Like, you can't help. He has such a presence. His voice, just his like his eye, like everything. Like, you can't. You have to undivided attention for this dude. When it comes to the spooks, when it comes to the hollow flavor of this movie, I think it excels. There's a lot of interesting choices made when it comes to the actual deaths, and when it, like, save for the Candyman lore, which I'll get into last, and the way it's personified throughout this entire movie, which I think is where the biggest debate comes from. I think the actual deaths of these poor characters who die in this movie and showing what Candyman is capable of with the use of mirrors and reflections, like, a lot of these smug really have it coming to them. So when they do die, you want them to die. So it's not, you don't really feel any sympathy. Everybody who's dying is kind of a piece of shit. So you just kind of like, you're rooting for them to get the worst possible death ever. But when they actually are shown on screen, the way that they build to the actual deaths, some happen at really wide angles, some happen with the reflections. I really enjoyed entirely from a filmmaking aspect where they went with these scenes when it comes to lighting, when it comes to using gels of different colors, when it comes to compositing the shots, whether it was a dolly or like so there's one shot where it's like just like a pull on a skyscraper, and the way you watch a certain character just like bite it, it was so eerie and so well done. Like, I'm not gonna forget that for a long time. Now whoa, the mic, calm down, bro. I'm just here to talk about a movie. The biggest argument, oh my god, again, like my Italian gestures, I can't help it. It's an Italian thing. I've been doing this the entire time since I've been making videos. I do this and I don't even realize it. Like, where does this come? Now I know. Now I'm aware of it. But when I talk and I look back at the edit and I see myself doing this like I'm a freaking magician or some shit, I'm like, where did this come from? But the real reason why I came here to make this episode for the Candyman this week is because of what's causing this big divide in reviews for this movie, and it's the way they personify gentrification and racial tensions. Because racial tensions and just the idea of racism are deeply woven into the Candyman lore. Like, from the get-go, people who go see this movie and go, why is this so direct? Like, people who are just mad at the idea of it being in the movie just simply because of that fact. Well, it's always been there. So quite frankly, if you're triggered by this movie, that's on you. As someone who is always trying to learn what's going on with things like this, because I feel like I'm not that smart, and especially when it comes to politics and it comes to world current events, I'm always looking for the facts, and I make it a priority for me to not just read a headline and just assume things. I'm always trying to dig deeper, because we're living in a really wild world right now. But what I'm trying to, like, this movie doesn't do a good job, I think, of really delving into those topics. I'm glad that it was addressed at all, and I think it does open up that topic, and it opens up a discussion for people once they're leaving the theater. But it's a lot of characters kind of sitting around in these really rich, wealthy apartments talking about these topics, and kind of just like, this is this, gentrification, police brutality, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't really do a good job of really conveying that anger and that frustration. If you want people to leave angry, like when it comes to, like, for example, BlacKkKlansman, the end of BlacKkKlansman, where we cut to real footage, like, that really elicits strong emotions. And I think Spike Lee did a great job with that, really tying in this movie to the end of that. This movie is just kind of just characters sitting around a lot and just kind of saying things and not really showing it. Even though visually this movie is a powerhouse, it's not doing it in a way that complements what's being talked about. At least I didn't get that impression on the first viewing. Like, on the surface, what you're looking at is a horror movie that has elements of The Fly, where it's a guy just basically literally and figuratively decomposing as he's trying to dig deeper for the truth and try to find his way in life. And you have the psychological elements, you have the actual slasher elements, and then there's a social commentary. So the whole question that I have today, and I have for you guys, is like, I am not claiming to be smart about this. I'm just, like, I'm aware of these things, and I want to know more too. Like, is social commentary, like, is it dangerous to have social commentary when it's done improperly, or is it good to have it at all? Or Like, what's the idea of social commentary? Using it as a artistic tool in filmmaking could be very powerful. And I think there are parts of this movie where it works, but I think there is a moment where they're talking about black art and one character goes, they like what we make, but they don't like us. And for some reason, that little moment of dialogue stuck with me. A lot of it didn't, but like that particular moment does. I think there's moments like that where I can appreciate what's being done on a filmmaking and storytelling aspect, but also for a lot of other people, it's not going to work and it's going to feel too preachy to the point where it takes them out of the movie. Can you have your cake and eat it too? Is it enough to just mention things, current events, things that are on the mind of people in America, for in this movie's example, and then run with it and make your crazy slasher spooky horror movie? Or should you, if you're going to mention certain things, delve deeper into it and make a movie with more nuance? Like, can you do that? Like, I have this, like, I'm just trying to, because Twitter is like crazy too, where like people will attack for everything, and I'm just here trying to make sense of everything that's going on. Like, my brain is still broken, I think, from the past year and a half of insanity. Like, what are the rules there for you? Like, when do you think it's necessary and important to really delve into social commentary? What is it okay to have surface level social commentary? Where is it appropriate to go deeper or to stay from a distance? Like, this is a really open-ended topic here, super broad, but it seems like that's like a theme lately for me, just keeping it broad. But overall, I mean, I really liked Candyman. I thought it was a really fun, entertaining movie. A spooky movie. I think it works for the Halloween season. I actually can't wait to watch it again and really see if I feel the way I feel now a second time. I think Nia DaCosta does a really great job visually. The story, I think for the most part, I think works too. I was invested in these characters for the most part until the end where it kind of gets all like, it gets fuzzy for me. And I think the music is incredible. And I would recommend seeing it because I think it's worth your time. I maybe not in theaters, but when it comes on, on demand and stuff, definitely check it out. Especially for the Halloween season. Hopefully it comes out before Halloween on demand so you could check it out. But yeah, those are my general spoiler-free thoughts on the new Candyman. I want to know what you guys thought of this movie. Also, thank you for sticking around this long if you're still here. Thank you for tuning in for, I don't know how long this video is, but I've been rambling on forever and I feel like I'm about to pass out at any minute. But if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you want to, you can. You can also ring the bell so every time I make a new video, you'll be notified. And I try to make I've been consistently making videos every week, and I'm proud of myself for sticking to this schedule so far. We'll see how we keep going. Hopefully a new Matrix trailer comes out soon, like the first Matrix 4 trailer, so that I can react to that, because I cannot stop thinking about that. I mention it every week, I feel like now. But yeah, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for tuning in for the first time, or like this, any love and support. Thank you. I love you all. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully with some juicy topics, or a crazy juicy topic that we can all have fun with. So, see you next time. Love y'all. I'm delirious. Bye.